Good evening, my little fishies. To me, you are all just little fishies in an aquarium, and I've been instructed not to tap the glass by Mummy. However, I will not be listening to Mummy's instructions.
Welcome back to the Zach Winger Show, the best podcast in the world. I'm here with Al Sheets.
Hello, my name's Al Sheets, as previously mentioned. I'm so happy to be here today. Zach, thank you for inviting me to be on the show. It's very kind of you. Very considerate, cool and hippin' with it. Can I open this now?
Yes, since you already did.
Before this started, Zach would not let me open my beer. You're 21 now, right?
23.
What the fuck? What did that happen?
I know.
I remember when you were doing Never mind, I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh.
Anyway. Never mind.
Now I'm curious. Yeah, I'll have to, when I listen to this later, I'll have to text you what you were talking about.
Don't worry about it. We'll open that bag later. Anyway, I remember, what I was going to say is I remember when you were wearing diapers.
Yeah, just the other day.
It seems like it was only yesterday. So wow, time really fucking flies, doesn't it? Am I allowed to say the F word on this podcast? Oh yeah, we encourage it over here. We love
cussing. Yeah.
Awesome.
I do remember just the other day we were in Sophia's class. Learning.
We did meet in typography. Did we? Yes, we did. Zach already knows this, obviously, but whenever we first met, I thought he was so insufferable. I was a bitter human being. I will admit this. I have grown immensely since then. But at that time, he would always be smiling about some fucking shit. And I always came into class kind of cranky. So I was like, what the fuck does this guy have to smile about all the time? Why is he always raising his hand, trying to answer the teacher's question? Like, shut up. Doing too much. But of course, I got to know Zach over time.
Okay.
He's a beautiful little sunflower of a boy. And I really mean that.
Sweet.
Very kind, wants to spread positivity. Zach Ops, I'm fucking coming for you. You won't be sleeping peacefully soon.
Zach haters, watch out.
Watch out.
That's funny. Thank you. Seriously. That's
You're so welcome.
Makes me happy to hear. I'd say the same about you, being a little sunflower. Sunflowers are my favorite flower.
Well, I thought you meant... I'd say the same about you. I fucking hated you when I first...
you were insufferable.
You know what? It's fair.
I think I never thought about that. Like, it really can come off like I'm doing way too much. And like,
No.
Hey, everybody!
No, that was definitely not... I want to emphasize, I was so misguided. I think... me personally, and I'm sure a lot of other people will experience this, but... sometimes you just become wary after being put off by multiple interactions with people, with strangers that go poorly, people who do not act in accordance with their higher self on a consistent basis. And I feel like sometimes that makes it difficult to open up to new strangers and give them a chance to just be who they are without complete judgment. So, anyway, word salad over.
Word salad.
All I'm trying to say is sometimes we do become hardened by those little biases without realizing it.
I mean, that's valid, though.
But anyway.
I also kind of do it to myself sometimes where I'll maybe, act more selfish than I really am as, a joke, because I think it's funny to,
Sometimes
act like I'm a dickhead, but then people who don't know me well think I actually am.
Listen, trust me, I'm sure there's countless, numerous times where I've been acting a fool in public, and
they're like, fuck this person.
Yeah, and I had no idea that I might have been coming off as
I
a
think about that all the
dickhead.
time. I wonder what, people think of me just as I'm passing by, do I look cool, or,
you know what, I think, yeah, I would definitely see you and be like, what a cool guy, walking down the street, what a cool,
I hope so.
What a cool feller.
But then also, it shouldn't matter. And I would even go as far as to say it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I can't help but let that shit bother me a little bit.
It's okay.
I don't know.
You would not be human if you didn't let it bother you at least a little bit.
Exactly.
Everyone cares at least to some extent what people think of them.
Whether they'll admit it or not.
That's facts. That is facts.
Amen, brother. I'll cheers to that.
Yeah! Bing!
Are you enjoying your beer?
I am.
Do you like it? How would you describe it?
It's nice. It's I'm no beer connoisseur, but it's nice. It's kind of light. I can taste the lemon, which I quite like.
Yeah.
But you know.
My goal is to make the whole world, this will be their favorite beer. It's Summer Shandy,
That's a tall order.
We are drinking Summer Shandy, the current unofficial sponsor of the Zach Winger Show.
Whoa.
The future official sponsor.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
I think so.
It's going to be Summer Shandy, Squarespace. What's the fucking food box? BetterHelp. Healthy Fresh, Hello Fresh.
Yeah. I actually considered signing up for one of those because I did just go grocery shopping and it's kind of enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it would save me a lot of stress and planning.
You're already doing the legwork for them right now. Exactly. You're not even sponsored. Here you go.
Exactly. But I'm sure it would cost a little bit more money than grocery shopping, just because like delivery fees and all that.
I would assume so.
But I don't know, if I had like a little bit more like dispensable money, I think I would absolutely do it. Mm-hmm. And then just like meal prep basically.
I'll tell you what, I get that, but I've also been finding a lot of rewarding times in the past year by just buying a bunch of shit that can make multiple meals and experimenting with what all I can get out of it. Yeah. Which sometimes does lead to some stressful scenarios where I'm like, okay, all I have is a box of pasta.
Seasoning to use.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I have made some like special little fuck up meals that I just had to eat for the rest of the week.
And it's like, was it nasty? Like nasty stuff?
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I'm trying to think. There have been times, I don't remember what exactly, where I ate a little bit and I was like, no. And I threw out the whole fucking thing. And I think, I will say one of those times I think I made like tuna and rice or something, which is I make that meal pretty often, but I accidentally spilled like 2 fucking tablespoons of garlic powder, onion powder. And I was like, this will probably be fine still, right? It's a can of tuna.
I always hear that you can never over-season something.
See, that's a fucking lie. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. You can over-season. It's, maybe the threshold is higher than you might think, but no, it's possible because when I took a bite out of that meal, I like had tears in my eyes. I was like, oh my god.
Tears in the eye.
It was truly just an uncomfortable cacophony of onion and tuna. So just be careful. That's my advice.
That's funny.
Either way, it's been nice to have that time to cook, especially since, and this can segue us into another topic, but since I've been done with the Ephraimson, I've actually had time to fucking breathe.
Yeah.
And think.
I did want to ask you about that.
It has been, I'm not gonna lie, I think, how do I put this? Ephraimson, I want to first start off by saying Ephraimson was an incredible experience. I'm so glad that I was selected for it. I'm so glad that I went through it and did it. I'm proud of myself for getting through the finish line and having such a cool show. But I'm honestly happy to not be doing it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm very relieved. I feel like while it was amazing, it was also a burden in so many ways. And I'm just like, wow, I actually have a moment to pause and breathe and get my shit together. Yes, I have time to save up some money. Nice. I have time to cook meals and spend time with my boyfriend, hang out with friends, catch up with people on a more regular basis. I don't feel like I have this really heavy and scary deadline looming over my head. And also, it's the first time I've been, like, actually outside of school in a hot minute. And that's been kind of...
That feels like a breath of fresh air, doesn't it?
It does. It feels lovely. I won't lie. I started a new job at the public library.
Good.
That's been going super well.
Good.
And I feel like whatever this time in my life is, it's been a very pleasant transitional period to whatever the next thing is.
Yeah, good. I think the Ephraimson is a good, like... That's a really great way to end your undergrad career, like... So, and then you can kind of end on like a exclamation point, and then, like you said, just kind of breathe for a little bit, and then decide, okay, now where do you go?
That's a great way to put it.
Your show was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
That was really awesome.
I
was really
appreciate that. It was, honestly, to be so transparent, it was such a struggle to pull it all together.
I bet.
You know,
I mean, like, it's just you.
It
Really, like,
yes,
it's a big solo show.
very much so, and that's something. Thank you for saying that. I feel like I should emphasize that as well. That I felt very, very lonely last year, and I keep feeling the need to apologize and like clarify that like I'm not ungrateful for this experience. I just feel like it's also important to be transparent about all of my feelings throughout it, whether that be, you know, the awesome highs and low of high school American football, you know, all of the beautiful things to be proud of, but also there's some ugly parts, and one of that being I was extremely lonely for most of the year.
Yeah.
When you have that fellowship, you're in this, I'm not trying to be melodramatic, but it is kind of like you are in a very unique position.
Yeah.
On campus.
Sorry, I do want to say for context, what we're talking about is the Ephraimson Bridge Year Fellowship. After you graduate, you become eligible, and you come back to campus for another year, and you get a solo show at the end.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have clarified that.
But, sorry, I cut you off a little bit.
No, you're okay.
But I can kind of relate so I applied, but I didn't get it. But part of me is like kind of super grateful that I didn't get it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think no matter what would have happened, it would have been okay. Yeah. Right?
I do, like, it really fired me up. I think it fired me up to do all the stuff I'm currently doing. Because, like, now I just want to, like, prove them all that they, like, made the wrong choice.
Absolutely. Hey, I understand that. I do. I feel like lately I've had, I don't know, feel like I have not been scoring a lot of art W's lately. So I have this feeling of wanting to prove myself, but also having the desire and the knowledge that I should rest and relax during this time.
Resting and relaxing is good.
That is so hard.
I do want to say, before I talk about, remind me about that point, because I'm probably going to forget.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
A second ago I said, I'm grateful I didn't get it, and I want to prove them that they made the wrong choice. That's a little bit of a selfish way to say it, and congratulations to, like, well, to everyone else who even applied, but then also the person who ended up getting it. I don't want to sound like, I'm not trying to put anybody else down.
Yeah.
I just am trying to bring myself up.
Sure.
So I just want to clarify that.
No.
Zach's an asshole.
I understand. I feel like you can have, I mean, people contain multitudes. You can be happy for the person who won, but I think you can also, honestly, you should allow yourself to feel jealousy or sadness or grief. You know, those things are very, like, you'd be kidding yourself if you said that you weren't feeling those things, and I think it's good to be honest about that, because then I don't know. I think that's the best way to... Why is this dripping? What is that?
It's resin.
Ew!
Why is it?
Anyway,
what was I saying?
I don't know. You said something about lifting yourself up.
I do think that everybody should... Any artist should believe that they are the best or one of the best artists. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, why would you... I almost want to think, like, why would you not? Because then you're just, like, putting yourself down. That's interesting. Without being an asshole, obviously. But, I don't know. Like, why would you go up to somebody and be like, yeah, like, my art's... It's okay.
I guess that leads into the question about why are you making art? Because I think depending on what you might answer, that might be the reason for why somebody is like, I don't really like my shit.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in this world who operate with the belief or knowledge that their art is subpar or it's not very good, and they're just doing it because it fills some sort of void inside of them. Yes, I would say anytime you go on the internet and you, like, I don't know, people who do, like, Family Guy fan art and it's in, like, MS Paint, and they do that over and over and over and over and over, and they're, like, drawing their Family Guy OCs and stuff like that. Not that I know of anyone like that. I'm just saying that I think of those people in this specific scenario where I'm like, I think they're just doing it to fill something.
Yeah, because it's enjoyable for them.
Yeah. So I think not everybody is as goal-oriented about their work.
I see. Yeah, I guess I don't want to speak for everybody when I say that. But
that's fine.
From
your perspective, yeah, that's how you feel.
So, I guess to answer the question of like in the most simple, short and concise answer, I think why I make the art is to, one, share my story, but then also to, I guess, motivate, or at least spread positivity. So I think that's my answer, which I think is, I guess it doesn't really necessarily connect with why I feel the need to like, or like the self like confidence thing, but I don't know.
So I have an interesting question for you, and feel free to change the topic or not answer if you're not comfortable. I know a lot of your work in the past has been about having cancer and all of the struggles associated with that, and I know, and from what I've gathered in the past is that you've made some of that work as a way to connect with not only other survivors, but also to help people understand the struggle that you went through during that time.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm curious about if you ever feel like, do you ever feel like an obligation to make that work? Or do you feel like, it's all just been very cathartic? Or do you feel like sometimes it's like, okay, well, I've had this experience, it's my duty to make this stuff?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe not necessarily an obligation. I kind of just feel like I have to. You know what I mean? Like,
does that ever become, like, emotionally taxing, doing it from that angle? Or do you feel like it's been a relief?
I would say both. I think the actively making the art is emotional, and I'm like thinking of all these dark themes. I'm thinking of little messages I can put in there, and I do kind of have to re-experience the dark times during the making process.
Yeah.
But then once it's out, it is a relief if I hit the mark or whatever.
Yeah.
But ideally, when things turn out how they're supposed to, it is a relief, and then I do get people who either can relate, or people who, I think my biggest goal with the cancer related work is people who have never had cancer, don't know anybody who did. My biggest goal is to get somebody to like open their eyes a little bit and realize pretty much that we're lucky to be here. I guess that I should re-answer the question of why do I make my art. That's why, it's so that people can realize like how lucky we are for any of this. So then if that starts to happen even a little bit, that is extremely relieving. I can't think of the word we said earlier, but that's a good feeling. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
It certainly does. Thank you. I was just curious about it because I think sometimes when we touch on traumatic parts of our lives through our work, it can be so hard to address that and to approach that in a way that not only doesn't re-traumatize ourselves and open old wounds, but also doesn't, I guess, has more substance than just traumatizing the audience. You know what I mean? That can be a very hard line to toe. I, for what it's worth, I do think that you have successfully balanced that in your work.
Thank you.
But I don't know, I was just curious about your firsthand perspective on doing that, because, like I said, it can be such a, while cathartic, it can hurt a lot to reopen those doors.
Yeah. To put it really simply, there's just something in me that's saying, like, you have to do this. And that's same for Balloon, and same for the podcast, and same for any other little art thing I do, like, because nobody's telling me like that I have to do this stuff anymore. Now that I'm out of school, I don't have to do any art stuff.
Facts.
If I didn't want to. But I am anyway, because I don't know, I feel this need to. This might come. Okay, I'm just gonna say this without worrying about how it's gonna come across or whatever.
You can.
I feel this need to help people experience, like, just have a good experience. Pretty much, I just feel like I'm here to like create a good time. Whether it's through the very emotional chemo art and having a good time by realizing, oh, I am lucky to be here, or through much less meaningful art that is a lot more lighthearted
Yeah.
and unserious.
Yes, I
like
have
this.
seen that from you, and I
Yeah.
quite like Piss Boat. I would like to shout out Piss
Classic.
Boat.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites as well. Just because of that I actually did it. Like,
Yeah, I quite liked it as well.
that one, I got some heat for that one.
I'm sure you did.
But that was kind of what I wanted to happen, because making that, I was just kind of like, fuck you.
know,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
well, you know,
Like,
the thing is-
why can't I take a picture of a paper boat in the fucking toilet?
Yes.
With piss.
Why not?
Who are you to tell me I can't do that,
agree.
or that's not
I feel
good art?
like humor is something that we should be tapping in. I feel like it's kind of tough because in the contemporary art world and in a lot of our classes, I don't feel like humor is prioritized as a way to express yourself through art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a struggle for me as someone who that's my fucking bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's how I do so many of my political illustrations and caricatures. You know, I'm utilizing humor and like
I think that's what makes them so awesome.
yeah,
It stands out.
exactly. And it honestly is my goal to inspire more people to do that myself. So when I saw Piss Boat, I thought that was great. I thought, as if anyone deserves to be making Piss Boat, it's you. You
That's
have
awesome.
channeled so much of your energy and your effort into making a lot of work that is very poignant, but very serious, very austere, and sometimes hard to swallow. And I feel like if you... I mean, it's your choice if you want to exclusively do that kind of work forever, but I also don't think that anyone has the right to point and laugh, unless, I mean, like, at you, rather than with you about this, because you've earned a moment of just being silly and doing some fucking thing for the fuck of it. Yeah. That's why we're here on Earth, is to do that shit,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Here for a good time, not
Here
a long
for
time.
yes. Cheers.
Cheers to
I'll
that,
drink
brother.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been great already.
So
I'm
much
having a great
content
time,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck all those other guests. I'm the real
Yeah.
deal.
This is episode number 8.
Oh
so,
wow, there's been quite a few already.
I just committed to every Thursday. So I'm
Nice.
gonna
I
have
saw
to
your
finally
post.
Did you like the poster? Honest
I do.
reaction.
It's quite nice.
Thanks.
It's fun pop art.
I just
shit.
ordered 50 of them.
Where are you gonna put them?
Around.
Put all in
I'm
here.
gonna find some. We start locally in my apartment.
Locally within a 10 feet distance.
I wanna go to any little like pushpin board around town that I can find and just put them around and
For
just
sure. If
see
you need
who's
any
willing
help
to
with that,
put 'em.
I've got connections.
Okay, I might take you up on that actually.
Okay, good.
They should get here in about a week or so.
Sounds fantastic. Good for you.
Thanks.
Where'd you order them off of?
Mix'em.
I've never heard of that.
Mix'em is somebody I gotta get to be on the sponsor list because little known fact, I use Mix'em for every single issue of Balloon. All my printing needs, I go to mixem.com. That was not written. I just came up with that on the spot.
Wow,
but-
Zach, a lot of people are getting some free Prime airtime
Yeah.
from you today.
Yeah.
They better be groveling
They
at your
will.
feet.
They will. But no, you literally, for the booklets, or zines, you could say,
I would.
upload the PDF, click, it's this many pages, this paper size, super easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like very affordable per unit, I guess.
Whoa,
So-
per unit.
Yeah, if you want to break it down like that.
That's good to know.
But no, seriously, and they come out great quality.
I commend you for having a recurring and consistent zine that you've been like on top of. Is it 4 issues now?
The third one will be out soon.
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 Hey, that's better than never.
I'm calling it the summer 20. It was gonna be the spring 2025 issue. I'm just gonna
Should
call it
happen-
the summer issue, but I'm gonna
Graduated-
shoot the cover today. It's gonna be that little
Yeah.
action figure right there. But
Wow. Oh, with the little.
the one standing up.
It
Yeah.
has its own stupid little thing. What do you call it? A ring?
Yes.
I always find it weird that they call it a ring when it's
A
square.
square.
What the hell?
That's funny.
Good for you. That
Oh,
would be cool.
drinking game for listeners at home. Every time I laugh and then say, "That's funny," you have to take a drink.
Can I play?
Yeah, I've said
can
it
play
twice
right
already. I've said it at least twice. I don't know, either that or I'll laugh and I'll go, "Oh shit."
That's good. It's good to be self-aware.
So I'm thinking about it a lot, so.
Don't think.
Every time I laugh. I know. That's the best part about the podcast is once the screen turns off on my phone, you can't, like, see the audio stuff anymore. And then you can kind of forget it's there.
It's like you're having a normal conversation.
With a real human, like, face-to-face, yeah. So, there's never going to be... I've talked about this on at least 3 different episodes already, but I don't ever want to have video for this, I don't think. Or if I do, it'll be in some sort of, like, sneaky way, but I just feel like
sneaky.
The camera,
something nefarious about that.
Without permission.
Candidly.
Yeah, good. That's a good word for it.
Thank you. I learned it from a certain magazine.
Oh, I'm familiar. That's funny. See, I just did it again.
Oh my god! Damn.
Well,
take a drink. It was like 5 seconds.
That'd be very easy for me to get caught in an endless cycle of ha ha ha, that's funny, ha ha ha, that's funny, because it'll make me laugh and I'll finish laughing. Man. Also, the 2 I just said don't count for the game. Anywho, cameras and lights in the face and all that stuff, I just feel like would take away and it wouldn't be as natural.
Oh, I agree.
I think it would make it easier to kind of like watch what you're saying, which obviously subconsciously we're always going to be thinking, okay, this is being recorded for like the public, but I don't know, something about a camera and bright light, I don't know, it feels like somebody's watching you, because it kind of would be, but
no, dare I say it, I do feel like that is kind of the point of a podcast. And sometimes when I see, like, I don't know, a lot of influencers start their own podcast, which is fine. Podcast is good.
Yeah.
But then they bring the camera out and it just becomes this very odd ego trip. Yeah. And then they get guests on and it continues to be a very odd ego trip. I'm not adding any particular influencers. I'm just saying I have noticed that with some of the shows I've watched before, and it's just like, what the fuck this, you know? Like,
yeah, I think they do it just to make engaging shorts and stuff. Like,
yeah, you're so right.
Which I struggle with.
Shorts.
Yeah.
You can't say shit, but I'm shaking my fist.
Mine aren't quite as engaging visually, but I don't know. I think it'll catch on eventually.
Sure.
But that's enough about the podcast. I want to talk more about you and your art, because we spent some time talking about me and mine. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know if this can spark any conversation, but just going back to
probably not.
What? How can I say this?
It's okay. Take as much time as you need to formulate
Maybe
a
I'll have
good
some
question.
more beer so I can think about it.
Yeah, that's usually something that will help. Drink more alcohol to think better.
See, I got it. Now that I took another drink, I got it. Just came to me. Interacting with you a lot throughout undergrad, through your final few semesters, and seeing the art that you were making, the art that you were capable of, is awful. It was terrible. But it was really, really good. And I learned a lot from you.
That means a lot.
And I thought that if anybody in the world deserved A from Sin, it would be you. And then you got the show, and you made the show, and it was awesome.
Thank you.
It was really, really good.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, you killed it. It was amazing.
Thank you.
My favorite one was the little sauce packet.
Oh, trust
awesome.
me, I got so many questions about that.
That wasn't my favorite, but that was funny, and I feel like that kind of relates to. I just said I want to talk about you, and I'm bringing myself into it, but it kind of reminds me of Piss Boat a little bit.
Yes,
because
it absolutely
it's just like
was.
A silly little thing, and I bet a lot of people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yes, I don't.
But you're like, "Fuck you."
Here's the thing.
So yeah, tell me the story about.
I will. I have so many. I could write a whole essay on that one thing. So in my show, I had plenty of 2D art that was, painstakingly hand drawn and took hours and hours and hours. And then I had one piece that took up a whole wall, and it was just a little like empty ranch cup, and it had a drawing of a tiki torch on fire inside, and it was called Eternal Flame. And I wanted to price it at like I think
Something ridiculous.
$1,000, and then Brett would not let me.
Oh, come on.
He said the reason was if somebody bumped into it, like if some kid bumped into it with their backpack and then crushed it or tossed it on the floor, they would, like be terrified, quaking in their boots that they'd have to pay $1,000 for a ranch cup. And I'm like, how is it?
Be careful in a fucking gallery.
I know. I'm like, how's it any different from hanging up a piece on the wall that's $1,000? That's like, in a frame. I'm sorry, I get. To you don't value the ranch cup, but if I say it's $1,000, it's $1,000.
Yeah, that should be totally valid.
It should be. It's the same thing.
Up a little bit.
Listen, I know. Trust me, I know. But it's okay. I respect it.
What if it was in a glass case? I don't. Whatever.
See, if it were in a glass case, it would be like
you can't touch it. Yeah.
Anyway, I think. I don't know if he was scared I was going to claim insurance fraud or something on the fucking ranch cup. I could see what he was thinking there, but alas,
it's understandable.
I'm not actually that clever.
But what does the ranch cup with the tiki torch mean to you? What's the title of it?
It's called Eternal Flame.
Oh, okay. You did just say that.
That's okay. That is a good question. I think a couple people asked me, and they still didn't quite get it even after I explained it, which is fine.
Yeah.
It was part of a smaller collection in my show of sort of fast food receptacle-themed items. I painted on hamburger wrappers.
Can I take a guess?
Yes.
Is it an anti-fast food, anti-American fast food culture piece saying that kind of like the world, like the U.S. pretty much depends on fast food, especially like lower funded communities. Basically, like the fast food chains are the thing that is keeping these things alive. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. My first thought when I was making it was, I had started by painting on these hamburger wrappers, and I had these like quintessential American phrases that I feel like I hear all the time. Americans don't wait in lines, referring to the idea of like immediate gratification that is associated with fast food, stuff like that. And when I was drawing this little stupid ranch cup, I was thinking about how, America has this brand identity, much like any fast food corporation does. They have things and concepts that are, absolutely necessary for the machine to run. And one of those things is white supremacy, which I know seems like, where'd you get that from this? It's, the torch was a symbol of that kind of chokehold that, white supremacy has on our nation, and how much like McDonald's has its own brand identity, that is part of America's in general. And it's also kind of a call to, Lady Liberty's torch and the parallel between those two things. So, sorry if that explanation was a little bit scrambled, but that was my first initial, association when I made that. It was a little bit freeform, I won't lie, but it started making sense as I finished it and thought about it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, things getting a new meaning later.
I agree. I think that's what creating is all about, and something that is not always made super clear in undergrad is that you can start out and change your intention along the way and even afterward, at least in my opinion. I think that is definitely a matter of opinion, and I think it's fair that a lot of people would disagree with me about that. Yeah. But unfortunately, I do believe that there are some things that we create and with subconscious intention that we can't decipher until later, like a lot of things.
I think that's okay.
And I find that working that way is often really helpful, for artist block. I would be lying if I said I wasn't going through a little bout of that right now. But while I'm working through it, I'm making a lot of free-form things without full intention. I'm just, making a lot of very abstract and hasty drawings because as long as I'm doing something, it's helping me work through that kind of blockage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, long story short, also, displaying it as I did was twofold, kind of giving the concept a it was kind of a oxymoron because it was giving this idea and this concept the space it needed to be important, but it was also mocking everything about, the culture of what modern art is accepted to be.
Yeah.
It's definitely not accepted as a bunch of garbage, a bunch of fast food garbage. But that is, unfortunately, America's brand. That is what we actually do value. Yeah. We value this garbage heavily.
Yeah, light beer and fast food.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got myself a brewski right now.
Yeah, I'm a victim of whatever you would call that.
Me too.
Because I literally just got a fucking Sonic burger and I come home and drink my fucking light beer.
I will fucking say it. I'm going to say it. I'm constantly seized by the American urge to eat a burger.
Yeah.
I had 2 this week, I think. Not on accident.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Maybe we're just brainwashed to always want a burger.
That and on many other things as well. But anyway, yeah. So the sauce cup was it was somewhat tongue-in-cheek. It's kind
You're
of...
drunk.
Oh, God. I'm fucking wasted. We got to stop the podcast here. I'm sorry, Zach.
We're just getting started.
Oh,
yep.
Whoa. That's crazy.
I was going to grab another beer. I'm just waiting for you to...
Waiting for me to
be done with yours.
Is that a challenge? You need to laugh and say whatever it is that you say. For like 3 more.
That's funny.
There it is. Okay, I'm taking a big drink.
Chug. Can't tell, but I did their middle finger at me, which
That's actually libel and slander, and I didn't do that. So any lawyers out there listening, if you could contact me at... I'm not actually going to say my phone number. You thought I was going to say my phone number. Come on, you almost got me. Nope, I'm not getting any spam robot callers today.
I have a plan for a segment.
Okay.
I don't have any... My only recurring segment is at the very end of the podcast. But anytime I say plan for a segment, it's on the fly, and it's going to be new each episode. But new segment... It's called, I'm going to go grab another beer for each of us. And while I'm doing that, you can pick any brand, company, whatever. And I want you to do an ad, like an imaginary ad break.
Oh, okay.
For them.
Okay.
Well, for like
on behalf of your
10
podcast.
Seconds.
It'll be on behalf of
Or it can be like comedic.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Sure.
Just go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. All right. Thank you for listening to the Zach Winger Show. We are going to take a brief moment to pause to talk about our sponsor today, terrorism. We're going to talk about our sponsor. Yes, that's right. The Zach Winger Show is sponsored by Crimes Against Humanity. He might not want you to know it, but I'm here to tell you what's actually going on behind the scenes. That's right. It's all blood money. All of it. That's what got him this iPhone and this fancy apartment to record in. Oh, thank you for this beer.
Wow.
Oh boy. And that's all, but thank you to our terrorists.
Oh my God.
You might want to edit this out later, Zach. It's okay. I'll understand if you do.
No, I'm keeping it. So.
And that is the end of the ad. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, Zach.
Wow. Welcome back. I wonder what that ad read was about.
You don't have to worry about it.
So far, I have not cut out anything from any podcast besides when Caleb got a phone call and then had to leave for an hour and then came back.
Damn, an hour.
And I was committed. I was like, well, just come back. But to the listener, I was gonna say the viewer, but to the listener,
nobody's viewing shit.
It was Caleb goes, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, I'm off the phone. But really, he was gone for an hour.
Well done. Quality editing there.
Magic. Movie magic is what they call it.
This is what they're doing in Hollywood, folks. Sponsored by the terrorists. Stop saying that. I'm sorry. Please don't stop listening.
Disclaimer, the Zach Winger Show is not sponsored by...
Disclaimer, Zach Winger loves America!
Yeah. Oh. That could be problematic, too.
Pick a side, buddy. America or terrorists?
America.
I'm sorry, I'm making things worse. We don't want to lose our sponsorship. I'm sorry.
How about this? I love everything good in the world. I'll leave it at that.
It's a very centrist take. I love everything good, and I hate everything bad.
If something is good, I like it.
And that's why I'm voting for Biden. I'm sorry. I'll stop. Turn those lights up. Get those lights up.
Sleepy Joe. That's got to be the funniest nickname. I don't know.
Okay, I hope he runs again.
Can he even? Is that possible?
Yes, it is.
I don't know. If we even make it that far, probably fall asleep.
Facts. Rest in peace.
Do presidents have nicknames, or is it just Sleepy Joe? I can't wait to clip that later and make a little clip of that.
Is it just Sleepy Joe? No, I'm pretty sure they called Richard Nixon Tricky Dick.
Oh, that's good.
If I remember correctly. Somebody please send me a private message if I've got that wrong. Correct
this
me
is
on
good because then we can get like comment rage bait.
Booyah! Booyah! I think they used to call Abraham Lincoln the guy in the funny hat. So if any of you heard anything different, just let us know.
I almost said it. I thought about it. That was a close one.
Anyway.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I've talked so much already.
Have you any more questions for me?
No, fuck you.
Okay.
I guess I could talk about what I'm doing now.
Yes.
Art-wise.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing! I'm doing nothing and I love it!
That's a good answer.
I'm just kidding. I am doing some things.
Yeah.
I'm just not...
Yeah, you go first and take all your time and then I'll do mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been going so hard, or I'm sorry, past tense.
Hard.
I was going hard.
Uh-huh.
I was going hard as hell last year, and I was kind of coming off of that in January and February, feeling like, okay, yeah, I've still got energy. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to make a bunch of stuff. I'm going to submit my work to whatever show I can get it in. And then I just, all of a sudden, just fizzled out. Just burnt out. There was a day that came where I was like, oh my god, I don't want to draw. And that was probably the first time that has happened to me in like over a year.
Did that make you feel guilty?
Yeah,
I experienced that right when I graduated and I was like, I don't want to make art. I was like,
yes.
Wait, what? I was like, I don't know, I felt sorry, but continue. But
I absolutely felt that, and yes, I did feel guilty. I was going through this little crisis for a minute that I think I'm finally kind of moving on from. Thank you. It's hard. I'm sure it will come back eventually. I'm sure it's just a brief lull in the cycle, but I felt very guilty about not wanting to draw, and for a moment I was like, did I fuck up the last 4 years of my life? Mm-hmm. And I'd never before that time felt that way ever. And I think part of it was due to me applying to some grad school programs and not seeing the results that I would have loved to see.
Yeah.
I heard back from some schools and got some offers that were really good, but overall, I'd also been rejected from some schools. That felt really bad.
Yeah.
Even getting accepted into some places, it's still, I'm sure you can understand this, but I'm a perfectionist, and being told no from schools. Oh, yes.
Fires me up.
It did, seriously, and I didn't want to talk to too many people about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to come off as petulant or like a brat because of being upset about that.
Do you know who you're declining?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But part of me was like,
yeah.
And so that made me second guess everything about myself. I do think I operate with some confidence as an artist. I can acknowledge that I do have...
You have to, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do have an advanced illustration skill over, like, a very large portion of the population of planet Earth.
Yes, absolutely.
I can acknowledge that. However, it was still very disheartening to be told, no, you can't. Not only are you not getting a scholarship, you're not even in the fucking program.
Yeah.
Like, that was tough.
Yeah.
And then the offers that I did get were good, and they were generous, and I thank those schools for their offers, but they still were not all-encompassing, and I'm just very not money.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not money right now.
Me too.
Many people are not.
Me too, brother.
But desperately so, I'm, like, trying to make things work. Anyway, long story short. So my confidence
I'm not reading that paragraph.
Not reading that essay.
Oh, that's what you said.
Moving on, not reading that essay. So, yeah, my confidence was very much shaken, and it still is a little bit.
I think it's good to have those, like, reality checks and kind of, like, not that you are super selfish, but it is good to kind of be humbled every now and again. Remind yourself, like, I'm actually not perfect.
Absolutely.
Even if I'm really, really good. Yeah.
It is good. But it is good to be humbled.
Also, if anybody... Sorry, I'll let you go back. I keep interrupting, and I have an interrupting problem.
It's okay.
I do want you to keep talking about what you're working on currently, or soon to come, and whatnot. I do just want to say, like, if anyone's listening and like, wow, these two people are just sitting here talking about how, like, good they are. Like, we're talking about... You're talking about how good you are, and I'm talking about how good I am. And I can totally come off like, wow, these people are, like, really selfish. And, like, these guys are pretentious and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. If you're sitting at home listening to that, like, fuck you.
I really like that you took a minute. I thought you were about to be like, I promise we're not. We're good people. Like, no,
I am a fucking asshole.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, we are awesome. That is amazing.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong. Too much of anything is bad. But there's nothing wrong with a little bit of self-love and self-confidence.
Well, that's the thing.
Somebody has to gas you up.
I mean, bottom of the line, far worse artists, in my opinion, than me, have been able to call themselves professionals.
Gosh. Yeah.
They have made money off their work. They're professional by default.
I feel like an online class and
yes,
because they're better than
Yes, there have been many instances where I've seen a person's art. I've seen how they have successfully sold that work, and I've been like, holy fuck.
Yeah, isn't it funny when you stumble across those? Again, that's gonna make me sound like a fucking asshole.
It's okay,
like, your art sucks and you're successful. What? But
all
it's like...
I'm saying is this segues me into what I was saying earlier.
Yes, about your current
which
work.
Is if those people have the right to call themselves a professional, which they do, even if I don't like their work,
absolutely,
then I certainly can say the same about mine, and I can even feel a sense of pride when talking about it.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, I agree with you. If you're listening to this right now, and you're antagonizing us, well, I don't really care, and also, fuck you, and also, you smell.
That's funny. I just did it.
Drink.
Take a drink. When there's silent gaps in the audio like that, that means that we're both...
we're both getting lost in the sauce.
But what are you currently working on? Oh, yeah, crushed a can on your head. Yep, that was fucking awesome. Good job.
It's a good question. Sorry, I got liquids on your table.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, no! Our table!
It's actually been a bit of a...
It's broken. It's broken.
It's been a bit of a trend lately to spill a little bit of beer. I think the last 3 or 4 guests in a row have spilled, spilled something on the table. Yeah. Ethan, Josh, and Christian, and Derek all spilled something.
Oh, great. You're lumping me in with those bozos now.
Loser.
I'm just kidding. I hope you guys are doing well.
Anyway.
Yeah, what the fuck was I saying?
Current work.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, right, my current work. I don't have any huge projects in the work, and I know that's crazy, but I can at least say a few cool things. I'm planning on... So, Zach and I both went to... Wait, you were there, right? You went to Zine Fest. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's been such a long time.
No, it's okay. Just don't even remember.
I know, don't remember anything, because it wasn't that important to me at all, so... Yeah, so Zach and I went to this thing called Zine Fest with some other peers last year, and it was so fun. I had a great time, especially because the place where it was Logan Street Market. It's in Louisville, by the way.
The Kentuckiana Zine Fest.
Yeah, it was Kentuckiana Zine Fest. Thank you, Zach. And they had a little bar situation
yes, I did
going
have
on.
A beer
I'm telling you, for my first tabling event, wait, I think that was my second. Yeah, I can't remember if I did Celebrate Print. I think Celebrate Print was out. It doesn't matter! For my first tabling event, it was a good time because we all were very... I just think back to that and I'm like, wow, we really were the college students who just came in, had a fucking beer, and sat back, and we're like, oh my god, hi! Thank you for coming to our table! It was very funny.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
I know! So I will be doing that again this year. I hope that you guys end up coming. If not, I'm not... Listen, it's okay.
Thank you for not...
But even if you just come as people who want to see the other zines and we all go do something later, that'll be cool. So I'm really looking forward to that. And recently I submitted they had a poster design contest for this year's Zine Fest. and I submitted a design, and I heard back, and they were like, I'm sorry, we didn't pick yours. I know, I was like, another Art L. Oh, no. God damn it. But then they said, this is Junior Studios, by the way. Shout out, you guys are really cool.
Yes.
Then they said, we actually would like to select you for Artist of the Month.
Oh!
I know, I was like...
Even better.
That's what I said. I was like, please, this is not... This
that
is
was a roller coaster.
I know.
He's like, I applied. They said no.
I
But then
know.
they fucking,
I
yeah.
know.
That
That's
was
how
awesome.
I felt too. And they want to... I think they said they were interested in, like, turning a piece of my art into a risograph print.
Whoa.
Printing several editions of it.
Nice.
And they have a Patreon, and I think they want to do an interview of me for the for their
nice.
Patreons.
Hell yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm really looking forward to
proud
that.
of yourself.
Yeah, I need to actually get cracking on making a zine or fucking like a new one.
Yeah.
I've been putting it off.
That reminds me of news. I want you to fully finish your thought in any side tangents, but
Okay,
I
good.
do.
I'm excited about your news now.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I recently was in a show in Bloomington for the National Society of Arts and Letters. I didn't win anything for that show,
Hey,
and I was
but
a
at least
little...
you're a part of it.
I was.
So-
It's just something to put on my resume, I suppose, you know, which is cool. And
Small
then,
art dub.
Small art dub, yeah. I also was in an online exhibition in... I think it's still up, actually. It's on MIMA. It's the Museum of... I don't know. Go to MIMA.com. MYMA.com, I think. It's a completely online gallery, and it was free to enter, which, by the way, if you're an artist and you're curious, you should definitely enter in whatever open calls they have. They have them all the time. And I did get in. It was for political caricature. And yeah, it was really cool. It's also very low key and very, you know, simple, easy. Didn't win anything out of that or anything like that, but sometimes that's just not the goal. Sometimes the goal, yeah, exactly. No, it's not an Art L.
Didn't win the whole thing, Art L.
Exactly, Art L. And sometimes it feels like that.
If you don't win Best of Show, why'd you even apply?
Sometimes it feels like that, seriously.
Yeah. I had that at the senior show. I was like, only one award?
Yeah.
Which makes me sound like such
Zach,
a fucking
it's
asshole
okay.
because
I
I had
understand.
literally 2 pieces in and one of them got an award. Some people had more than 2 in and got no awards. So I'm super lucky to have even just 1 award.
I get it, though.
But my other piece, I was like, really? I was like...
I think it's good to be hungry.
Yeah.
I think
so
it's
too.
good not to... I mean, from what I know about you, you're not cocky to the point where you're, like, intruding on other people's
I like to think that as well.
well-being or,
Yeah.
like, being an outward dick.
Sure, it doesn't sit right with some people, which is understandable.
It's fine.
But
They can be all up in a tizzy about it.
I get
It's
some
fine.
dislikes on the...
Oh!
on the
That's
episodes.
harsh.
Yeah. Oh
Damn.
no, what am I gonna do?
That truly breaks my spirit.
Some people are just negative people. Like, they'll just go and fucking thumbs down.
Yeah, fuck your podcast.
Put it on for 1 second, thumbs down.
To be fair, if they were watching this episode and they listened to 1 second and they heard me talking about fucking fish tank or whatever the hell, and they thumbs down, well, that might just be okay. Might be understandable.
I like to think that any engagement is good engagement, but I think thumbs downs are actually a bit more negative. But hey, I'll take it.
We'll take it.
It's okay.
We'll take it. Yeah, that's fine. That's what I think Mr. Beast, he
It'd be
loves
so much
thumbs
cooler
down.
if it was Mr. Breast.
That's what I've been saying. I've been trying to tell people. God, this really got off on a tangent.
That's what the show is all about.
What were you going to say? You said you had news. That's pretty much all I've been up to.
Okay,
Just
I
that shit.
didn't want to. I wanted you to fully talk about
Yeah.
whatever you're talking
Well,
about.
hold on. I have one more thing to
Yeah.
say, which is that I'm
Okay.
also working through rediscovering my love for making artwork,
Good.
which sounds corny and
No, I think that's a great
odd.
thing to. I feel like you almost. I think artists need to do that every now and again to be like, why am I?
Yes, absolutely.
What does that look like for you? Like,
It's been, I think everyone who knows me as an artist is aware that I like to go to public spaces and I just like to draw people. I hadn't done that for, not in any meaningful capacity for months. And I also hadn't planned any specific kind of pieces. I don't know, I was just hanging out in limbo, and I was kind of even intimidated by picking up my sketchbook again. Just because I had gone through a period of time where every single thing that I was drawing just pissed me off. It looked ugly to me. And it wasn't satisfying in any like fulfilling, soul healing way. It was just purely frustrating. So I gave up for like 2 months maybe on doing anything significant. And also I've had so many external life factors that we all deal with that have made it difficult to even find the time. However, recently I've just been trying to like take a breath. If I have a moment, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna open my sketchbook, and I'm gonna draw whatever the hell's in front of me. And so far I've gotten, I could tell a difference between the drawings that I've been doing in the past week or two versus the ones I was trying to do a few months ago that were so like forced and like just felt so frustrating to even get through. These past few ones, I feel like you can actually look at them and see that they were made with some love, some appreciation for what I've been doing. Good. Some sense of curiosity for trying out new techniques and that kind of thing. Whimsy even. Oh. So
nice.
That's what's up.
Good.
That's what's up with your pal Al.
Good. That's a good yo pal Al. That's good.
Is that funny?
Yeah. You almost got me. That's a good segue to what I'm currently working on.
Yeah, please.
Basically, let me put this vaguely.
Let me put this in terms that your small brain can understand.
Something happened where I was very fired up about how other people perceive me. Mm-hmm. This is a recurring thing in my life where this happens and people might think of me in a certain way. Sure. And it just fucking drives me nuts.
It's understandable. You're only human.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish this issue of Balloon, and then the next Balloon, because for this current issue, I'm changing the form of Balloon a little bit. Previously it's been, the photos are on white pages, and there's like a thick white border around each photo. For this one, it's a full page spread. Like, that's just like a little change, and I'm like,
I like it.
Kind of changing the cover a little bit, and then now there's like one extra photo. So like previously there were 6, but now there's 7. So it's little stuff like that, which I feel like is good to like keep it fresh and all that.
Well, since it's a passion project, I feel like it's important for you to experiment when you feel is necessary.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I felt it was time for a change, and there's actually a lot of changes. It's a smaller page size.
I like
now,
that. That'll be cool.
And then it's up. The subject matter is much different too, but thematically it's still Balloon with the nostalgia and all that. So and that's all this context for what I'm cooking up now. I'm making the 3rd Balloon, and that one's really almost done. But since I was so fired up about this self-perception and outside perception of myself, I was like, you know what? The next issue of Balloon, since I'm already changing the form a little bit, I was like, I'm going to fucking totally change it. I'm going to make it all about this experience I'm having where I was basically going to make it all like over the top selfish, and it's gonna be like the Zach Winger zine made by Zach Winger, the host of the Zach Winger show and Zach Winger art. All photos were taken by Zach Winger, and it'd be a bunch of photos of me, and it'd be my face everywhere, my cartoon character everywhere, me for the whole fucking thing. And it wouldn't even say Balloon on it. It was gonna just be like, or if it did, it was gonna be really small.
I like it. Lose your mind. That's fine.
Pretty much. Yeah. But I decided, and after a little conversation with Greg Blair, I kind of decided on my own already, but then he made a really good point. But I was like, I shouldn't do something like that for Balloon. I'm gonna continue to let Balloon be its own thing and grow in its own direction. And I don't know why it took me so long to think of this. Make a separate fucking zine. Like, just another zine with a different title. Yeah. That can look totally different. Yeah. So that way I don't have to change what Balloon looks or feels like. I'll just make a new zine and create its own identity.
I think that was
like,
good choice.
Yeah, I was like, in my head, I was like, I did it. I came up with the best fucking idea. 2 separate zines. Oh my god.
What I've
How
gathered
could I have thought of that?
from Balloon is that it's something that you put a lot of very intentional thought behind.
Yes, absolutely.
You have a theme for each issue,
Mm-hmm.
and you are not just going about it, impulsively. With this idea that you've just described to me, I fear that anger and frustration while they are very powerful emotions, they're also fickle. They don't last very long.
Yeah, exactly. I've already kind of dismissed that
Exactly.
idea. Yeah.
And I felt like
as soon
as you put your foot through the door on an idea that is born out of something you are impassionately angry about, I feel like it fizzles out so quickly. At least in my experience.
And to me, it's because out of positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
And something like Balloon, which is made with positive intentions,
Mm-hmm.
to me still lingers in a good positive way, and I'm still happy with it. But say I were to go forward with that idea of the anger and the negative emotions and all that, sure, it'd be fulfilling now, but I'd look back and be like, man, like, it's kind of sad. I actually made a full thing about how fucking mad I was.
Yeah, well,
so
I think
I have dismissed that idea, but...
And I want to also emphasize that I don't think you need to feel bad about doing that, or embarrassed or ashamed, because, since the dawn of time, people have been using art as an outlet for... negative emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with doing it. Even if you were to go through with that idea, execute it completely, do it, that would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been what you would have wanted at that time.
Yeah. Exactly.
However, in my opinion, I feel like it was a better thing to do for yourself and for your well-being to either make it a separate project or just let it go.
Yeah.
And it can be so hard to...
It was hard to let it... I guess part of me still kind of wants to try, because...
It's fine if you do.
Even outside of, because what it was going to be, I was going to make the new separate zine about that...
Yep.
Excuse me, that was really...
It's okay, let it out.
I was going to make it for that one event that triggered it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that's making me still kind of want to do it is that I find this being a recurring issue in my life, where I do struggle with coming across as selfish, and I do struggle with how other people perceive me. So that's kind of the only thing that makes me still kind of want to try
It's
making
hard.
something like that.
I feel...
But the source is so negative from one event that I don't know. I don't think I should do it.
It's kind of difficult, because I feel like you have touched on this in your work before. Mm-hmm. Do you actually feel like that was a cathartic release for you when you made previous work about this topic? Do you feel like you came out on the other side and you were like, okay, that was nice, I'm glad I did that?
Yeah, I would say so. Mm-hmm. My narcissist piece, technically speaking, I think might be my best work.
It was. I
ever.
Quite liked it.
Thank you.
And not just because you were naked. It was for other reasons.
I think that photo, like I just said, technically is very, very good. I think thematically it is kind of fulfilling, because I feel like it hit the mark. It's literally a self-portrait of me as narcissist. And it's like, I don't know, how could that not hit the mark? You know what I mean?
Is that you embracing that narrative of, yes, I am selfish. Being human is to be selfish to a certain degree.
Both sides of it. Where it's, I am a little bit selfish, and I think everybody should be a little bit selfish. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but to a certain extent, I think most people should act in a little bit of selfishness every now and again. It's really easy to take it too far, sure, but again, I don't know, you got to take care of yourself, and confidence goes a long way. But at the same time, I think what was really the driving force of that was that I was trying to make it so that it was an over the top expression of people say this is how I am. So I was kind of trying to show, no, this is what you're describing is me as narcissist, which is not the reality. So I felt like what I was trying to do was by showing such an extreme of me literally looking at a reflection of myself as narcissist, the person who died from falling in love with himself, was me being like, this is what you're describing and that's not true. Otherwise, that's what I would do. I'd walk around with a fucking mirror all the time and I'd be so full of myself and blah, blah, blah. That's not what it is. So I think I like to think that I hit the mark and it's fulfilling and cathartic for me. I don't know how other people feel about it. I think technically I've heard good things about it, that it looks good, but
it does.
I don't know if people have like taken exactly that message from it. But again, you're creating art for the public world. They're going to take...
Sure.
We can throw whatever you want them to think out the door because they're going to tie their own experiences into it. But
my thought is that, on one hand, I appreciate that you made that piece and that it was cathartic for you. And I think that you should always make art that it will provide you some relief, whether you have intentions to display it publicly or not. Go for it, do it. But I do feel bad that it seems like this is made in a defense of yourself. And sometimes, I don't know, it just feels sad that those are the circumstances that you made that work under. Rather than, this is a genuine self-expression of me, this is who I am, instead of, this is what you see me as, this is what I really am. I feel that piece doesn't necessarily present to a viewer who doesn't have the full context an alternate reality, which can make it difficult for them to parse what the actual, what maybe your message was. Sorry, I didn't mean to come in here and critique.
No, it's... But
that's kind of my thought with it, and so that kind of led me into thinking, with your hesitance to make this next issue of Balloon this kind of similarly defense of your own being, self-aware and selfish. I say that with air quotes. I'm glad that you went another direction for that purpose. That Balloon feels like a very pure self-expression of what your vision, your aesthetics, your interests, and having that personal conflict kind of taint that space for you, I feel like would be very...
It'd be bad.
I just feel like it would be more painful for you than anything else.
Yes, and I look back and be like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Maybe you would be like, okay, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it would provide you with some grief, methinks.
Yeah, I thinks too.
He thinks. He thinks as well.
Yeah, so I'm glad I at least thought if I am going to do something like that, it'll at least not be Balloon and it'll be something separate.
Yeah.
But again, even separate from Balloon, I don't think I should do it because it's just fueled out of negativity.
Sure.
And boy, am I tired of negative art.
Trust me, I
fucking
feel
sick of it.
I've hit kind of a wall. No, you're fine.
Cuss so aggressively.
Fuck!
Not what I said, just I was like, I'm fucking saying that. I was like, I guess I'm not that fired up about it, but...
No, guys, he's like white-knuckling the table right now. He's like shaking. His face is red. He said he's not mad, but he's so fucking pissed. Yeah, so that's interesting that you say that. I feel like in my work I've kind of hit a wall recently because I've had a lot of anger myself about so many things in the world, so many things, and, I'm pretty well known for my political work and my caricature because I have stood from an angle of I'm poking fun at people who need to be taken down a peg.
Yeah.
And lately I think it's been really difficult for me to make work in that voice because it feels really hopeless. Yeah. These people still, of course, need to be shaken down. They need to be... I truly believe that they deserve to be mocked. At least the people I depict in my work. And that's why I do what I do, because I think it provides relief for like-minded people. Yeah. And perhaps would piss off all the right people as well.
I think there's nothing wrong with like intentionally, to a certain extent, trying to like fire people up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think
there's anything wrong with that.
I agree. I'm biased here, but I do agree. I think it's necessary to, like, you know, I think that you should strive to spark some discomfort with your work.
Yes, or the way I always think of it is art that can get the viewer to experience any sort of emotion, whether it's positive or negative, is good.
Yes, absolutely. I had a lot of people come up to me after my show and comment on I think this was, I don't want to say the most controversial piece of the show, but it was definitely the one I got the most, like, mixed opinions on, and it was the one called Demure, and it was a young girl who I modeled after, like, Mary-Kate Olsen from when she was on Full House. And she was holding a baby doll in her lap, and she was giving it lip fillers and putting, like, it had a bunch of makeup on, and it had, like brat-themed onesie or something. I don't even...
I remember that one with the two ponytails.
And that was made from this desire to kind of lampoon this odd culture that was going on at the time that was, like... Oh, God, this mix between, like, coquette worship and brat culture where it's like, I'm just a fucking girl and my lunch is cigarette. Girl dinner. I'm gonna fucking go get... no, anyway.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting
it's just this weird... this very strange culture of wanting to be a small female, wanting to be, like, childlike in nature, but also highly sexual, wanting to have this virgin innocence, but also going out and, you know, like, bumping that, like, oh, Charlie XCX, I'm gonna go do coke in the bathroom, but also, I'm just a girl, but also, I shouldn't have to... why are they trying to teach me math? I'm just a girl. Like, shut the fuck up. It was just all of that mixing, like, blending together. Constantly, every time I would open, like, Instagram Reels, it would be some shit like that, where it's, like, a bundle of grapes and, like, a vape. Someone drinking a Diet Coke and some grapes, and they'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, girls that are. I was like, oh my God, enough. This is why I don't have a fucking gender. I can't take it. So I made that piece out of that frustration, and I had so many people come up to me, and they were either like, "That's so cool! Oh my God, that was so funny."
I was like, "You really have a problem with that? Like, what's your problem?"
Or it would be more like that. I thought that was so gross. That was disgusting. Or, you know, saying things like that was truly disturbing.
Oh,
and I'm
really?
Like, yeah.
Wait, in like a negative way?
Not like, necessarily. It was more so like just like a casual, like, oh my God, dude, that was crazy. That was messed up.
Okay.
I didn't get anybody who came up when they were genuinely mad about it.
Good.
They were just providing. Yeah, that would be stupid, and I would be so willing to have a conversation about why that's stupid. I'm an open book, people. I'm very willing to have a conversation. And I don't know. I thought that was funny because I do sometimes want people to come up and be confused about how they're supposed to feel and be confused about what, you know, like, I don't know why, but I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I want them to be able to look inwardly and figure that out. Figure out what makes them uncomfortable. Yeah. And maybe they will reach a truth within themselves that they did not realize was there.
That's a really good goal to have. And that's pretty powerful, I would say. Because then that's a long-lasting impression from your art. So
it is. I don't know.
I feel like must be the goal for most artists, like to have some sort of long-lasting impression. So
absolutely, I don't know. I'll never know for sure if I've actually ever had that effect on someone through my work, having made them so uncomfortable or confused or angry that they, like, actually...
like, think about it for the rest of their life.
Yes, think about it, consider it for a long time, change the way that they think, anything like that.
That's also somewhat similarly is my goal.
Maybe we'll get there someday.
I hope so. I mean, that's really the driving force for me is thinking, like, what if somebody sees this and it changes the way they live their life and for the better?
That would be something.
Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? Like,
wouldn't that be?
My goal
epic?
is to have one person do that.
I'm sure. Maybe it's already happened, Zach. Winger.
Maybe same for you.
Maybe.
I was gonna say,
what if the world was made of pudding?
I don't know if you're. What if the world was made of pudding?
Oh, imagine. That's what John Lennon said.
Really?
No.
I wouldn't say that your art has made me a long-lasting impression in the terms of the way I think or making me question anything, but I think
you're already woke.
Yeah, I am woke. But I think your art has made a long-lasting impression on me as far as technique and quality and effort.
Well, that's what they say, right? Comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Okay. Can we do the segment again where I grab more beer and you do an ad read?
Oh, God! Okay.
I'm putting down.
Shit, I'm trying to think of a problematic sponsor for you to have.
Something wholesome.
Something wholesome? Okay, fine.
Something
Go.
good. Okay.
Go. Alright, this ad break is going to be sponsored by Harbor Seal Pups. Oh, Harbor Seals. Oh, you might be wondering, what the heck is that? Well, have you ever seen a seal before? It's like that, except it's a specific kind of seal. It's called a harbor seal. They're so cute. Oh my God. And they glump to move around. They hop around on the beach, on the sandy shores. And they're so cute. Did you know that when they go underwater, they can take naps there, but they breathe manually, so every 30 minutes they can hold their breath for 30 minutes. They come up for a little air, they go back down, they nestle themselves between some rocks and some debris, and they take a little nap, and then they wake up and they go back up for air. This could go on and on and on. All I'm saying is they're really beautiful creatures.
What are they called?
Harbor seals, man.
I just saw a Mountain Dew commercial today that was literally a seal with a man's face like edited onto it.
No.
And he was like singing this little song about how Baja Blast has like a little bit of like lime flavor.
No.
It was the most fucking ridiculous commercial. But then I was like, you know what? This actually kind of makes me want to go purchase some Baja Blast.
Fuck them.
It worked. It's effective advertising.
Art
really
comforts the disturbed and disturbs the comfortable.
Yeah. Amen.
Cheers, bro. I'll do that.
Cheers.
Why are you drinking these beers so fast? Do you have a problem?
No, I just went to the doctor actually, and he said, do you drink alcohol? I said, yeah. And he said, how often? And
did you answer honestly?
I think I might have underdone it a little, like a tiny. Actually, I think I like, if you're thinking over the course of like long term, I think I answered honestly. But obviously it kind of fluctuates. Like some days I might drink more than others. Some days,
what did you tell
sometimes
him?
I'll go a week without drinking at all. I told him I maybe drink 4 days a week, and when I do, it'll be like 3 beers a time. So he's like, so 12 a week. I said, sure. We can say that. And he said, well, it's only considered a problem if you have 14 or more.
What?
So I
Zach,
said,
you're like a fit fucking
yeah. I said, I do not have a drinking problem, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
2 beers a week away from having a drinking problem.
Well, as long as there's a fucking limit, according to this doctor.
That was I guess that might be, and this is
you blow me away. My God.
This is a binary way of thinking, but he said for a male, the number is 14. I'm guessing the number might be lower for a female.
You just know his ass goes home and he drinks 13 beers.
Probably.
He's like, don't worry, it's 14. It's 14.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm a male.
I should know firsthand.
Yeah. Does that mean I could have 13 on a Monday afternoon and not drink for 6 days and do it all again on Monday?
Yeah, I think you wouldn't drink for 6 days after that, but not because you had a choice. You would not be able to.
I was on steroids one time for a back injury I had.
That's exciting.
I couldn't drink for a couple of weeks. It was fucking terrible.
Oh, boo hoo.
I
got steroids from a back injury.
I can't drink alcohol.
Modern medicine saved my life, and I couldn't drink a couple beers.
Literally.
They went.
Should we take a dark turn or should we stay positive?
We could. This whole fucking.
I was like, because I do
There's
have.
been like 3% positivity in this podcast so far. No, just kidding.
What time? Okay, we have plenty of time.
Wow.
We can go. There's no time limit.
Wow.
So.
Let's talk for hours and hours
Except
and hours.
for at 7 p.m. I gotta watch wrestling.
Is it a sign reading?
Fully booked. Yeah. So.
I understand.
It's fine. I wasn't trying to waste my whole day on your ass anyway.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I have like 3 or 4 thoughts.
Go ahead.
After I burp. It's really rude to be on your phone during a podcast, by the way.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Oh my god, some things in life are more important than
my podcast? I don't think so. Than the Zach Winger show, hosted by Zach Winger?
Trust me, I apologize for my obtrusescence.
No, it's okay. Let me think of these thoughts. One was... I do remember the dark turn that this could take. And that's the one I was going to stick with long term. 2, there's no time limit necessarily. Oh, I was going to say this, hopefully, if you're willing and having a good time, which I feel like you are, if I am reading your vibes correctly.
Or something?
No. But I was going to say this won't be the last time. Are we going to go bowling or something? Hell no. This won't be the last time you're a guest on the podcast.
No fucking way!
I would love to have you as a recurring
I bet you say that to everyone.
I don't think so. I think I mentioned lightly something about each person having them as like a guest at least one more time in the future. But
that's so cool.
I feel like we're having a really good conversation, and I feel like it would be easy to follow as a listener.
Thank you for your feedback.
Yeah,
I'll keep
this
that
is live
in
feedback as we're still recording. Normally, it's something I'd save until after I turned it off. But
don't I feel special?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
I literally had a vision earlier. It was like as you were talking, it was like because what's gonna say is the Zach Winger Show Ep 8-Al Sheet, but then like future ones would be like the Zach Winger Show Ep 25-Al Sheets 2.
Maybe you can do featuring Al Sheets after this episode.
I can change. Feet.
Feet dot.
FEET.
Yes. Yes. Please. I need this. After this episode, it will be a guest feature. I don't fucking know.
Also,
just an idea. God.
I do still remember the dark turn, but I don't think I actually want to roll with it.
Please just say what it is already.
Yeah, I've been foreshadowing. Because you said
ominous.
Modern medicine saved my life, but blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, modern medicine did save my life, and I'm grateful to.
Apparently, multiple times.
Yeah, I'm grateful to still be here. Is the dark turn?
I'm grateful you're here too.
Thanks.
Actually, it was quite
buddy.
positive. A light turn.
To that. Yeah.
I was wondering about that. If you don't mind talking about it, you mentioned recently that you got some blood work done. I assume that was to make sure you're still under
remission.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the word that I was looking for. Thank you.
Yes, that is why I went, and that's when I figured out that 14 beers a week is problematic.
Oh my god! I can't believe that was at the same time.
Because I also established a primary doctor to keep me in remission and whatnot.
That's good.
Yeah, I know, but it was fucking scary.
I bet it was. What was this? How long has it been since you were first told you were in remission?
3 years.
3 stinking years, Zach Winger. That is amazing.
I was thinking at either 5 or like 10 years.
Did you go celebrate by drinking
big celebration
4
and
beers?
get really fucked up? Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing.
4 beers.
Yes.
No, more like 40.
40.
Or like 400.
That exceeds 14.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Might be an issue at that point.
I'm never gonna forget that when he told me 14 beers a week.
That's
someone was gonna think, like, have
so
I had 14 this
insane.
week?
It's arbitrary. Yeah. I'm sure it's based off of some sort of like knowledge, but I don't know. That's kind of
probably
silly.
based off like the average male physique and
sure.
how much. Yeah, but,
sure.
Yeah, 3 years in remission. I was gonna say permission.
Chicken permission.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite dishes, actually.
Chicken permission.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of that myself.
It's really good. The best one I ever had was in Key West, Florida.
Okay, I'll keep it. Next time I go to Key West, I'm gonna get some chicken permission.
The place was called Jack Flats.
Jack Flats.
It's awesome.
I feel like every restaurant I've been to in Florida has been. Like they have
It's got a fish logo.
It's got a fish logo. It's got a gator.
Yeah.
There's like a porch outside.
Yes.
For some reason, their menu is like 4 pages long.
And it's fucking awesome.
And
all
it's fucking
of them are awesome.
Yeah, you're right. It's fucking awesome. And also,
I guess when it's new to you and you're from the Midwest and whatnot, it's like especially awesome. But to them, they're probably like
fuck that. Yeah, I don't need that shit.
But
what do you mean? Oh, you got crocodile meat? Don't care.
Yeah, but we don't get local restaurants like that around here.
No, nothing that overlooks the ocean.
No, but nothing unique and fun either. Like what can you do in the bottom of Indiana? It's like a Ohio River themed restaurant. Take a break from the podcast. Listen to this imaginary ad read because I need to practice. Have you ever been sitting on your balcony or at your house or wherever you are and you're thinking to yourself, I want a light beer that feels like summer? Have you ever had Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy? It is the best beer in the world, my absolute favorite beer, my go-to beer no matter what time of year it is. It is my absolute favorite. By far, there's not even a second place. Yeah, it is seriously the best beer in the world. It always feels like summer when you're drinking Summer Shandy. Was that pretty good? I think that was pretty good. There might be a few more seconds of silence after this because I can't remember how long of a time gap I have, but thank you for listening. That was all freestyle off the dome, by the way. So I think that was pretty good. Okay, back to the podcast. Don't do that shit again. Seriously.
Boo! Yeah, boo! We hate that, don't we, Zach?
I can proudly say I never had a fake ID.
Good for you.
Never. I was just too scared.
One beer, please. Hello! Don't just ignore my trench coat. That's very, very tall. I would like one beer, please. One alcohol.
Anyway, about being in remission, we strayed so far away from it.
Did get way off topic.
But that's what I love. I love when the beers start to kick in, and then it gets to literally. This happens every time. About an hour and a half into the recording, we get very off topic. That's the best. I love when that happens.
It's happening. It's going to be happening even more.
It's so good.
Oh my god, so good. Oh my god.
Are you making fun of me right now?
Nope. I would never fucking do that.
Anyway.
I just appreciate the fuck out of you. Keep going, Jesus.
I got my blood work done. They checked my levels. Under my impression, everything looked normal, and I never got like a phone call back. So I'm under the impression that I'm relatively healthy in the grand scheme of having cancer or not having cancer.
Boom.
So,
booyah.
Yeah, I feel good. That's a good feeling. And I cried when I...
Good for you!
I cried when I called them to set up the appointment because it's fucking scary.
Sure.
And then I cried before... So, the day of, after I got the results, I was ready to cry before I checked the results. And I'm scrolling through, looking, and I'm scared shitless. But I'm scrolling through and everything looks normal. Deep breath, and I go, oh my god, and I just start crying because it feels so. I cannot express. I don't know if I could. I'm gonna be trying literally for the rest of my life to express how good of a feeling that is, and I don't know if I'll ever do it justice. Where the feeling of being scared that you might get sick again, and then being told for certain that you are not sick right now. It's such a fucking good feeling. Like, man, I was like, dude, even right now I'm like, whew, but it's serious shit.
It is, and I think you have every right to express any emotion you want about that.
Yeah, dude, it's a good feeling. When my last day of chemo, I felt like I got out of jail.
I bet you fucking did. I bet you were.
Yeah.
Dude,
it was such
bet
a
you were bumping the air walking out of that bitch.
And that's why I would walk to class and be all happy and raise my hand. And
yes, I was intending to get back to that eventually and explain that's why. But I was not sure when would be the best time to. We had to really ease into that little number. But yes. Little did I know, Zach is a cancer survivor, and here I was sitting in my bitter little chair, being like, "What a fucking asshole! Is always fucking happy all the time." Yeah. Well, it just goes to show you, life is like a box of chocolates.
Exactly. You never know what you're gonna
get.
Exactly. Did you know that Christian and I talked about that situation?
No, I didn't.
In our episode, that we talked about how. I was like, when you first met me, you were the biggest fan. It was very brief. But then Christian, and I mentioned on there, I was like, I know Al very well, and blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't putting you down.
No, I can be very gruff. That's something I'm working on, actually, especially because I think a lot of it has to do with my job now.
You just read books all day.
Well, that's one perk of the job. I do get to read books. I feel like I get to interact. I do love this community.
Yeah.
I'm not always the most personable human being, but I've been trying very hard to change that because
I think that's a good thing to be self-aware of.
It is. I think I went through my undergrad being very angry. I had a lot of good reasons to be angry, but I went through feeling very fed up and lonely and isolated. And I think that just manifested into a lot of bitterness and anger and a lot of judgment and impatience. So, in the past, even when I started the EXPERINCE, I felt like I was already going through the motions of, like, getting out of that mindset. And I had a few wake-up calls last year where I was like, okay, I can actually spend my life trying to make life better for other people.
Good.
And that can be a reasonable, realistic goal of mine. I feel like I have more of my own ducks in a row now. I feel capable of trying to be kind and generous.
Good.
So that is kind of what's happening with my job lately, is that it's been this. I was already on that track, but now it's been this wide open little path of just like, hey, look at all the kindness you can afford people. Look at how you can show people respect, and you can do it in the most simplest of ways. And it has also caused me to do some of my own introspection on how I speak to people and treat people who I don't know very well. And in the past, I have been a little bit of a stinker. I have been a stinker alert. I've been very... There have been times where I've just been downright mean to people, and it was oftentimes, it was never anything they genuinely did wrong. It was just me being annoyed by life's problems and not having a healthy outlet for it. Anyway, long story short, if I met you today, I think I would find you very cool.
Thank you.
And I think I would not be like, God, fuck off, smiley, happy guy, stupid asshole.
That's funny. That's something I try to tell myself because it does really bother me when somebody like actually doesn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like for something like that, it's like it's whatever. Like you kind of keep those thoughts to yourself, and it's like, but for people who like actually don't like me, that really doesn't sit well with me.
Well, I hope that my story has actually kind of shined a light on what the actual root of the issue is when people are in that scenario, is that they're working through their own bullshit.
That's what I was getting at, was that I can never understand why somebody might not like me. It might not even be because of me or the way I act. It might just be something that they're going through.
Truly.
Or the way that they were raised or experiences they've had or whatever. And everybody's had a different experience and blah, 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 blah.
Facts.
So
now, does that give anybody the right to actively be a dick to you? No.
Hell no.
No, it does not.
No.
They can keep their thoughts to themselves. That's fine. That's what I do. That's what I try to do. doesn't always work out.
Hey, but we're artists and we speak our minds.
We're artists! Yeah, that's right. Artists, gather your paintbrushes. Rise up, unite. Fight back.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. I don't even remember what we were talking about before this. Damn, these beers is hidden.
Dude, we're so drunk. No, we're not. We're responsible. Aren't these good cans?
They're beautiful.
Nice?
I noticed that you
Really
did
well
like a
done.
mock ad for them.
Uh-huh.
It was quite lovely.
I've done 2.
Ooh la la.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I did one with the can and one with the bottle.
You got stiff competition against Miller High Life.
Do they make good posters in cans?
No, they just have good beer.
Mm.
You can call me listen, that's kind of a lukewarm take. I think a lot of people would be like, I mean, it's not that good. But I feel like in terms of every nasty pissed beer that's out on the market, Miller Lite and Miller High Life are all right.
That's valid.
They're okay.
I'm down with that. I can rock with that. Miller Lite is my go-to, like, regular beer. If it's like a sporting event or a restaurant or something.
No, yeah, I was
that
about to
only
say,
has vanilla beers.
I go into a bar. I watched this very funny TikTok the other day, or Instagram reel, and it was this girl who was basically explaining that it's funny that whenever you turn 21, you go into a bar, you're legally allowed to enter a bar and drink there, and you're kind of expected to know how it all works.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a menu. You're just supposed to have all these different cocktails memorized. No, like, also we aren't going to tell you the price until you cash out.
That's so fucking annoying.
It is very weird, truly. And I know some places do actually have it.
How much is this drink?
I know! Like, I don't want to actually pay $20 for a cocktail! Please tell me how much it costs. And then, I guess it's like this expectation that, oh, well, if you're coming here, then you have the money for it anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Not necessarily.
I'm broke, but I still want to have a good time.
That's what I was just going to say. I was like, I'm just trying to have a good time. So, no, that is kind of annoying. I hate when they don't have the prices on there. I'd rather have it be, like, overly expensive, but the price is at least on the fucking thing. Yeah. Versus it's, like, $8, and I'm like...
I agree. I agree. I might even still buy it if it's, like, a $20 cocktail.
Yeah, exactly.
I just would like to know. Respect me. That's all I ask.
Yeah, exactly. Do you go to bars often, ever?
That's
like a sit down chill type of bar? To enjoy a drink with some pals?
I do. I feel a little bit, I have a couple conflicting feelings about it because
Me too.
When I was younger,
and if you don't have conflicting feelings about it, you're lying.
Exactly. You are lying. It's a complex, nuanced issue.
Yes.
When I was younger, I didn't really party that much. I mean, I will say what I am legally allowed to say, which is that I did. I know a thing. I mean,
you've had some fun.
I've had fun in my life when I was younger. I had a great time, and I would go to my friends' houses for get-togethers. There would be liquids of different colors. Maybe I would drink. We don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know, but all I'm saying is I know a thing or two. Water, juice, yes,
fruit punch.
Yes, fruit punch. Even, mixed drinks.
Mixing water and juice.
Exactly, water and juice. So I would know what that was like, but I never went to, like, frat parties. Yeah. Even in, like, I probably went to one ever, and that was crazy. That was too much for me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I never had that experience as someone who would party or club or social drink beyond a smaller group of people at a bar or at a house party or something like that. Yeah. And part of me wonders, like, did I miss out on, like, doing that wild, crazy shit where I would get, totally black out and vomit up the stairs and, oh my god, Kyle just broke a blender. Oh my god, somebody just pooped in the microwave and they turned it on. Like, yeah, maybe I missed out on that a little bit. I'm a little sad about that. But also at the same time, I appreciate that that didn't happen because I had a very healthy relationship with alcohol growing up.
Good.
And I had a very healthy relationship with, being in environments that I was
safe
and comfortable in, because, you know, it's sad, but a lot of people are kind of thrown to the wolves when they go to parties like that for the first time.
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
they think that that's normal to feel unsafe and be okay being unsafe, and so they lead.
And everybody else does it, so it feels cool.
Exactly. And I don't feel like anyone should be made to feel like, you know, they should go somewhere where they don't feel fully comfortable.
Yeah, I have the same conflicting feelings, or similar at least.
But
it is fucking funny to have those stories of like the crazy shit. Like,
listen,
dude, you remember when such and such like you said, like shit in the microwave?
I don't have a lot of those. I have like a few from my youth. I won't say when in my youth. When I could legally
6 years old.
Yeah, when I was 6. Yeah, it was crazy back then. You wouldn't believe the shit I've seen. No, but you know, I have a few stories. But I wish I had more. I kind of wish I had more.
I have one that I'll share. This isn't so crazy, but...
I'm sure I'm going to like it regardless.
This was... So, it wasn't like a big fucking... Did you spill? No, it's okay. You're seriously, the last like 4 or 5 guests have... Oh, problem solved. Cover it with a coaster. Spill a drink, cover it with a coaster. Problem solved. Those
Making
are just...
it worse. Like, ew, my God. Fuck.
Yo,
whatever. You'll just get a new table.
I literally wiped the table down before you got here.
Oh, wait till we wiped it down.
Now I have to wipe it again, but it's fine.
The wiping wiper.
Wiper, no wiping.
Oh, that's good. It was quite funny.
It was a Dora joke for all you listeners at home. Oh, I'll just dab.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't, bro. Take it back. No, I didn't.
The story that came to mind was, this was either after some sort of house party, and then we came back to our apartment for like the smaller get together, or it was just a small get together. But we're having some beers, and it's time for bed, and I'm laying in my bed. This is at the dorms, by the way. So there's 2 beds per room, and my roommate he must have been staying at like his girlfriend's house or his home for the weekend or whatever. So there was an open bed. So our friend, Nolan, I am going to name drop because the story is hilarious.
Shout out Nolan.
Yeah, it's fucking funny. So at USI, the beds go up pretty high, and you can put your dresser under if you so choose. And that's what my roommate Gavin had. And Nolan is sleeping in Gavin's bed, and I'm laying there pretty drunk. And the lines between reality and fiction and imagination are all blurring.
That'll happen.
Trying to go to bed, and Nolan gets up. So I thought this in my mind was a dream. Nolan gets up out of bed, opens the drawer from under bed, and starts
not peeing in it,
and pisses in the drawer.
Of course he does. Piss drawer.
Right in the socks and underwear drawer. And
I'm very impressed with it.
I was like half awake. I was like, "Are you pissing in the drawer?" Well, actually, I wasn't quite as awake as that. I was like, "Are you pissing in the drawer?" And he's literally like super fucked up. He's like, "No." And I was like, okay.
Honesty was never one of his better traits.
And I went right back to bed, and I woke up, I was like, man, I had the weirdest fucking dream. I could have swore to God it was real, but I guess it was a dream. No, I didn't open it. Because I thought it was a dream. And oh, okay, this is what it was. The night that he supposedly pissed in the drawer was a Friday. That was a small get-together. And then on Saturday was a house party. So I saw him at the house party, and I was like, dude, I had the fucking craziest dream. Like, I swear you pissed in the drawer. It was like crystal clear. I spoke to you. You spoke back. And he was like, no, I didn't do that.
I like how he even said, as he was doing it, he was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, well, I don't think he realized.
State of denial.
So
his brain blocked it out as it was happening. That's rare.
But what must have happened, I know, it's funny, but I think the morning after it happened, Gavin must have done his laundry and put the new socks on top of the piss.
No!
So we didn't know for weeks.
No!
And he goes
his socks soaked up the piss?
He goes through all the ones he added on top, and he goes to grab socks that are towards the bottom of the drawer, and he goes, why are these wet?
No!
And he said, these smell like piss. And I go, oh my God. I said, oh my God, this wasn't a fucking dream. Nolan actually pissed in the fucking drawer. So we FaceTimed Nolan and we're like, you really did piss in the drawer. And we're like, come here right now. He wasn't staying in the dorms, but or maybe he was, but so he comes to our dorm like instantly and we're like, smell this. So that, yes, he did actually piss in the drawer. It wasn't a dream. It was real life. I was just super under the influence. So I really thought it was a dream. Well, and he didn't know because he was super drunk. So.
Nolan, if you're out there, use a toilet next time.
Yeah, I really do wonder, like, obviously not much is going through your head when you're very under the influence, but to just stand up and piss in the drawer. The only thing I can think of is, like, it's better than, like, piss in the bed.
Oh, maybe, I got a story for you about this shit.
Oh, God, were you a bedwetter?
I wasn't a bedwetter, but something happened. I think I've told this story before.
Are you a bed shitter?
So, flashback a couple years ago, probably 2022, maybe it was 2023. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't last year. It was 2022. On 9/11, yes, it was true. I was hanging out with my friend Emerald, and we were doing a puzzle.
Yes.
And it was going great, and we both had a drink.
Good. I was gonna ask. I was like, I hope you were having
a lovely time. Yes, we were imbibing.
Puzzle and a drink.
Yes, it was choice. It was beautiful. And I'd only had one drink. It wasn't particularly strong either. It was just a Moscow Mule that I had made, and it was delicious. And we had our fun. She left for the evening around like 9, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang out for a little and then go to bed.
Yeah.
And I did. And I woke up around, I don't know, like 3 a.m. or something. And I was standing by my bed with my hands like holding onto the mattress.
Oh shit.
I was not clothed, and I was just peeing on the ground.
Oh my God.
All over the ground, all over the carpet. And
what?
So sadly did that happen. First I didn't fully awake. And I remember walking to the bathroom to finish. So at least at some point.
Yeah, good.
At least at some point I was like, oh, I guess I better go do this where I'm supposed to do it.
Holy shit.
And then I got back in bed. And then I woke up the next morning.
There was piss all over the floor.
Well, I was a little groggy, and I was trying to be like, oh, God,
what happened last
night? I feel weird. Yeah. I look over the side of the bed, and I'm like, oh, that was not a dream.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, wait, that actually happened. And I get out of bed, and I'm like, oh my God, it's wet. Luckily, for some reason, I had some pet cleaner under the fucking sink.
I need to get some, just in case.
Just in case you pee on the carpet. Jeez. And I was able to do what I could do to get it cleaned up, but it was such a fascinating moment in my life. And that was only one of 2 times that I've ever sleepwalked. The second time being when I was in Italy.
Whoa.
I was on a school-sponsored trip to Italy.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. It was a lovely time.
Yeah.
I went with some of the best people.
Really bad.
I hope you get a chance to. It was really fucking cool. It was, I think, night 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know. We were staying in a hotel. And I was staying in a room with 2 of my buds. And I don't know what happened. We went to bed. I had like a severe sinus infection the whole fucking trip. It was awful. However, I still had fun because it was Italy.
Yeah.
I woke up, so I think maybe this had something to do with it. I had a little cold medicine moment going on. I don't know.
Probably. I heard those make people have crazy fucking dreams.
Oh, they do, and apparently it just goes beyond. It goes beyond into the 3rd dimension.
Yeah. Because
I woke up and everything was dark, and I was standing, and I was so disoriented and confused, and there was nothing, like, I had no clue what was going on. I was barely awake. And I was just like, dark. So I was reaching out in front of me, and I was like not moving really too much because I didn't want to walk into something.
Yeah.
And then I felt cold glass in front of me.
Whoa.
And I kept going like this, there's just more glass, and I was like, what is going on? And finally, I make my way out of the bathroom, and that's when I finally fully awaken. And I realized that I had slept walk all the way to the bathroom, and I was just standing there.
Weird.
This time I was clothed, thankfully. But yeah, it was just the wildest thing.
That's interesting.
So the only 2 times I ever slept walked, I did remember, which is odd. I think a lot of people sleepwalk and they
have no fucking clue.
Exactly. They don't know until their spouse the next morning is like, you fucking peed on my body.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever sleptwalked.
It's a weird
I've had some
thing,
fucking wild dreams off of some NyQuil and some...
Dude, it's disorienting.
It's real, but isn't that weird how... I have 2 thoughts about that. Weird how that can happen in the first place. Super weird. But then also how you can almost control it and you can almost make it happen. Like, I could drink some NyQuil tonight and have a fucking crazy dream. Like,
dude, I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to drink a regular dosage of NyQuil and go to bed.
Yeah.
I do think that's crazy.
Yeah,
I've actually on this topic, I've had some trouble sleeping for the past my entire life.
Me too lately. Not my whole life, but lately.
I don't know what it is, especially the past couple months. I've just been having all these stress dreams lately.
Yeah.
It's been nonstop, and it feels like some days I go to sleep and wake up and I'm more exhausted than I was when I went to bed because the dreams can be really vibrant. Mm-hmm. So I talked to my therapist about this, and she was like, well, maybe you should try lucid dreaming. It might actually help a lot.
How do you try lucid dreaming?
That's a great question. I also think I asked that, and there are ways to do it. You just have to kind of practice. It's weird. What I do, and what is kind of the easiest method, is you can say affirmations as you're trying to fall asleep. So, for example, and you can also, there's other things. For example, while I'm trying to sleep, I say things or I think things to myself over and over. I think, I'm going to control my dream. I'm going to have a pleasant dream.
Weird.
I am going to become aware during my dream, etc. And I keep doing that over and over and over until eventually...
It actually works?
It hasn't worked in the sense that I've been able to control the outcomes of my dreams, but it has worked in, I'm not having stressful dreams.
Oh, wow. I
can even kind of feel myself starting to be able to at least be aware that it's a dream, which is kind of crazy. I might...
Mind is a powerful tool.
It really is.
Whoa,
there are more,
crazy.
I think, efficient ways to do it. I think one strategy involves waking yourself up in the middle of the night.
That's a weird one.
It is weird. I don't know if
I've experienced that.
Want to do that. Seems like too much.
I've experienced where I'm having kind of maybe a dream I shouldn't be having, and then I'll be like, no, and I try to wake up, and I'm like,
see, that has happened to me before. I feel like
it's weird.
It's interesting.
It's weird how it's even possible.
Yes, I think everyone has a threshold where they can start to tell themselves to wake up if the dream gets too...
that's weird.
Because that happens to me too. If the dream becomes too terrifying or intense, I can just be like, wake up now, I'm getting up now.
It's kind of scary almost.
I think it's good that your brain has that functionality.
It's like the big red button.
Exactly, exactly. That is a great way to put it.
But sometimes it's also hard to wake up. You can think I need to wake up, this needs to stop, this needs to stop. But you just can't do it. It's like the dream's holding you back.
That's truly when it becomes what is the most terrifying part about it, is that sometimes you just have to wait for nature to take its course. You have to wait until your brain is ready to fully wake up. But anyway, long story short, I was surprised that strategy is actually doing something, not just,
Good. I guess that's a good thing then.
And also another strategy was to imagine a dream you've had from previous nights while you're trying to go to bed. Imagine it and then rewrite the outcome as you're thinking about it. Imagine that you actually were lucid in that dream.
I don't know how to feel about that one.
It's odd. I mean, I tried it and don't know if it made any significant difference. But then again, did any of this make a difference, or was it all coincidence?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just something to try. That's what I thought about it. It can't really hurt to just try it out.
Yeah.
I've heard that sleep paralysis
as for most things
can happen
in the world.
Yes,
well indeed. Yeah. I feel like we're at a reasonable amount of time. The only recurring segment is the final segment, which is advice for the listener. Which can take any course, and usually sometimes it gets a little serious and or motivational. And either one of us can start, but I want us both to go with advice for whoever might be listening, whether it's art advice or life advice or something silly and lighthearted or whatever.
That's a good little segment to have. I gave this advice out at my reception, but I do think it's still very pertinent, and I would say that it would probably be the first thing to pop in my head either way. But I would stress that, with your artwork, if you are a creator and you're listening to this podcast as from the viewpoint of an artist, or maybe you're even just doing it as a hobby, I don't know. But my first thought as someone who does a lot of political work is to not be afraid to talk about controversial topics with your work. Don't be afraid to touch on these topics, even if you're afraid that you might get something wrong, or you might offend someone, or you might just have something backwards. It's a great opportunity for you to learn. If you make something and you fuck up, or if you make something and it comes across great, you've learned something either way. You've learned what works and you learn what doesn't. And also, just for the sole fact of, I think it's really important that we, as artists, be activists as well. Not everybody agrees with me. That's okay. I once had an argument with a guy. I wouldn't say an argument, but I had a discussion with a person who was like, I just make art that makes me feel good inside. And I'm like, that's fucking great for you. But I do think that there is a level of social obligation that we have as people who have platforms where several people are viewing our work to at least be saying something about something we believe in to some extent. Doesn't have to be all the time, but preferably some of the time. So long story short, make work about topics that you believe in. Have some conviction. I think that's really important. Speak up for the little guy, that kind of thing. And also, buy a pound bag of rice at the store. Buy some tuna. Don't put too much onion powder in it. Just a little bit.
Remember, there is such thing as
too much.
Seasoning.
There is such a thing as too much seasoning. At least when it comes to onion powder.
That's my go-to for most seasonings is onion powder.
And you know what? That's great. You should use onion and garlic powder. They're
for everything.
For everything, and I agree.
No, that was really good until it went a little bit sideways, but.
Oh, so you didn't like that last part?
No, even that part was good.
Well, thankfully for you, I don't care what anybody thinks about me.
Good. That is kind of related to the advice that I was going to give, actually. Perfect segue. But I think we talked a lot on this episode about how to deal with how people perceive you and how to present yourself and things of that nature. You just have to realize, yes, it is hard to not care what other people think, but at the same time, I think it is beneficial to try to not care what people think and just act for yourself based on what you want to do. I think I'm just going to leave it at that because I can't really explain it. That's just kind of how I feel. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Also, drink some beers with your friends. Take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. True. Make sure you're healthy. Don't drink more than 14 beers a week.
Facts. Eat an apple a day.
I have been eating apples lately.
Good for you. I'm glad that you started eating fruit again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a frozen bag of broccoli.
Oh, I had some of that today. I had some frozen broccoli today.
Yes.
Frozen broccoli, guys, it's like 99 cents.
Yes, exactly.
Get your greens even. In. 98 even. Depends where you go. Facts.
Walmart's cheaper than Aldi.
I'll keep that in
for just broccoli. That's it. Everything else, Aldi's much cheaper.
You heard it here first.
I just went to Aldi today.
We're not getting that Walmart sponsorship anytime soon.
Fuck Walmart. Just kidding.
Hey, but thank you for having.
Just kidding. Walmart.
We can't lose any more potential sponsors. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, Zach. It was a pleasure. My pleasure, of course. My pleasure. And thanks for the beers. Wow. I have to pee so bad right now.
Yes.
I promise I won't do it on your floor. Be respectful. At least do it in your bathroom.
Of course.
So,
thanks for joining me.
Of course.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Nana!